Good evening, everyone. I'm Katie Zazera. I am the Deputy Director of Capital Coordination here at the T, and I am joined by the project team for the East Street Bridge replacement in Dedham. The project manager, Omar Al-Shar, will be joining me to give you an update on the progress of this project, as well as some information as we begin construction on this bridge replacement. Next slide, please. All MBTA activities, including public meetings, are free of discrimination. The MBTA complies with all federal and state civil rights requirements preventing discrimination on the basis of race, color, national origin, limited English proficiency, and additional protected characteristics. We welcome the diversity from across our entire service area. If you have any questions or concerns, please visit www.mbta.com/Title VI to reach the Office of Diversity and Civil Rights. If you would like to use closed captioning on this meeting, you can click the closed caption feature and select from the options shown. Show subtitle will display a caption at the bottom of the screen. View full transcript will display the meeting's audio transcription in a window to the right. Here's an overview of what we're going to be covering in tonight's meeting. We're going to begin with a project overview. I know you are all very familiar with the project, as well as the existing conditions of the bridge. We're going to talk about the improvements associated with this project and look at a construction timeline overview and talk about the methodology with which we're reconstructing this accelerated bridge construction. Then we'll talk about upcoming construction activities you'll notice in the next few months, and then talk about next steps and when we'll be coming next for our public meeting. Following the meeting, there will be a question and answer period. So you will notice at the bottom of your screen a Q&A button. You'll be able to type questions and comments there and also be able to raise your hand for a verbal comment. I'll review instructions for that once the presentation is over. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Omar, our project manager, to give the rest of the presentation.
Thank you, Katie. Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for joining us on this public information meeting for East Street Bridge Replacement Project. As Katie mentioned, my name is Omar Al-Shar, the MBTA Project Manager for the East Street Bridge Replacement Project in Dedham. I'll start with providing an overview about the project. Next slide, please. Project overview. The Dedham East Street Bridge Replacement Project is part of a system-wide initiative to modernize the commuter rail network. As shown on the map on the right side of the slide, the East Street Bridge in Dedham is located between Endicott and Dedham Corporate Center stations on the Franklin line of the MBTA commuter rail. One of the main goals of this project is to improve safety and reliability on and below the bridge by minimizing overheight vehicle collisions, which require town emergency personnel response, traffic closures due to the collisions, and interruptions to the commuter rail service. In addition, the project will provide sidewalks under the bridge and allow for better traffic flow on East Street. The construction contract value is $16.47 million and was recently awarded to PGSO and Sons. And a construction notice to proceed, or NTP, was issued on May 21st, 2024. Next slide, please. Now let's talk about the existing condition of the bridge. The current bridge was built in 1904 and has reached the end of its service life. Currently, the bridge has a 12-foot 3-inch vertical clearance, which is a substandard and has led to multiple overheight track collisions. The roadway under the bridge has two 11-foot 6-inch wide travel lanes without shoulders or sidewalks. Next slide, please. Project improvements. The new bridge will have a 14-foot minimum vertical clearance, which will reduce the potential for overhead collisions and allow for safe passage of emergency vehicles. The reconfigured roadway under the bridge will have 12-foot travel lanes with 2-foot shoulders. Additionally, new sidewalks will be added on both sides of the East Street to allow residents to safely walk under the bridge. There will also be roadway reconstruction, including roadway lowering, drainage improvement, and utility relocation. Next slide, please. Now we can talk about the construction timeline. The construction NTP was issued back in May 21st, 2024. And construction activities are anticipated to begin in August 2024. Some pre-construction activities, such as survey work and laydown area preparation work, may be seen in the community before then. The bridge installation work is anticipated to be completed in spring 2025. And the roadway and underground utility work is anticipated to be completed in spring 2026. The final completion of the work is anticipated in summer 2026. Next slide, please. Accelerated bridge construction, or ABC methods, will be used to minimize the disruption to the commuter rail customers and local traffic. The bridge will be built offline on temporary supports and moved into place during weekend using SPMTs, similar to the one shown on the picture example on this side. Next slide, please. Now we can talk about upcoming construction activities. Over the next few months, we will be out in the area conducting early construction activities, including mobilization, site prep work, and microbile installation. Mobilization started this July and includes activities like survey work and field office and laydown area preparation work, which you can see in the photo on this slide. Site preparation work will take place from August to October 2024. This work includes overhead utility relocation, minor track work, and temporary access ramps installation from the street to the track level. Noise from the temporary ramp installation work is anticipated. Parking spot will remain available at the Endicott station, but this work might impact the first 2 spots of the parking lot next to the bridge, and a single lane closure might be needed as well. In fall 2024, thank you. In fall 2024, we will begin drilling for the new bridge support, the microbiles. A full track outage weekend is anticipated for this operation. Commuter rail service will be replaced by busing during the full track weekend outage. Exact dates on when the commuter rail service will be replaced by busing will be provided in advance once available. Next slide, please. For next steps, we will be holding an in-person public information meeting in Dedham in fall of 2024. We will send email updates when we have more information. For more information and to stay up to date on the project, please visit website at www.mbta.com/EastST-Bridge, where you can also sign up for email advisories and updates. To submit any questions or comments throughout the duration of the project, please send an email to eaststbridge@mbta.com. With that, we'll turn it back to you, Katie. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar. So with the completion of the presentation, we are going to move into the question and comment period of the meeting. If you would like to write a question, as I mentioned previously, use that Q&A function at the bottom of your screen and type your question. I will make sure to read it along with your name, so that we can answer or address your comment. If you would like to offer a verbal comment, if you are logged on to Zoom, you can click the hand to raise your hand. I will call your name and ask for you to be unmuted to give your question or comment. If you're calling us on the phone to raise your hand, you can dial *9 and that will raise your hand. I'll call the last 4 digits of your phone number. So with that, I will start. We already have some questions filtering in. I have my screen here, so that's why I'll be looking off to my left. The first question, John McIsaac asks, is the contractor local? Omar, would you like to answer?
Yes, thank you, Katie. Yes, the contractor local, and as mentioned earlier, it's PG also and Son.
Okay. One other written comment, Brian Deuceman Plummer. Regarding the plans to have wider travel lanes, there is growing evidence that wider lanes increase car speeds at the expense of safety for those using active forms of transportation. Relatedly, how does the project aim to accommodate connectivity from the existing bike lanes on East Street? Does this project align with Dedham's Complete Streets policy of designing roadways for safety and well-being of all roadway users?
Katie, I can jump in here for that as well. So the roadway reconfiguration and redesign is done to meet the current standards, and basically the 12-foot travel lane with the 2 shoulders is the current standards that the reconfiguration is done for.
I see a raised hand. Could we have Michael Morris unmuted, please?
Michael, you should be able to speak now.
I'm still showing him as muted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hello.
Hi. So I have a couple of questions. The first one has to do with whether or not the MBTA has any commitment in its remit to monitor traffic at all during and after the construction, or is that solely up to the responsibility of the town?
The traffic monitoring is not part or scope of this project, to answer the first question.
Okay, so any and all traffic concerns that residents have will need to be dealt with by the town. Is that correct?
I would say, sorry, Katie, for let's say when we need a single traffic or detours, traffic impacts, this will be coordinated and communicated with the town in advance and with the residents, basically. Go ahead, Katie, if you want to add anything.
I was going to say, I would just add that we are in regular contact with the town and they've been a really great partner throughout this process. So we are constantly in touch with them and we both share information related to what's going on, both at the construction area and in the area in general. So we are active in our communication with them to help monitor this the best we can.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. So one other quick question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if the MBTA has the ability to, or the desire or the commitment to address any of the potential business loss that will possibly happen to the 3 or 4 businesses right in Endicott Circle.
One comment I'd like or thing to add, here that we will be coordinating and communicating directly with the business owners adjacent to the project as the construction progress. And the goal is to minimize the impact as much as possible to those business owners.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. I think that also kind of addresses, but Omar, if you'd like to add to that, Jim McDonald asks, when will outreach be done to businesses in the area? So I don't know if there's anything you want to add in that response.
And direct coordination has been going on through the contractor regarding or related to some of the utility relocation. I know some of the businesses will be impacted or will need to relocate some of the internet or electricity. But to answer the main questions, I would say this is something we're currently in the mobilization phase. Once construction starts, let's say in August, more coordination or direct coordination with the business owners. So in the very near future, this will take place as construction work starts.
Okay, I want to go to a written question from Kristen Relier, forgive my mispronunciation. Related to safety, I'd like to understand what traffic calming / direction the MBTA plans to put into place during construction.
So traffic management plans will be implemented in accordance with the standards and the design. Also, in advance of the construction, the MBTA working and coordinating with the town, we have installed signage and portable messages just to provide more warning and direction specifically for the overhead tracks. But again, the design, there are traffic management plans that will specifically address those kind of concerns.
Okay, I want to go back to people with hands raised. We have Jason Mamoni, who is the town engineer from Dedham. Could we have Jason unmuted, please?
I lost Jason. Hold on. Sorry. There you are, Jason. You should be able to speak now.
Hello?
Oh, that is, well, why don't we hold on, Jason, because we have Bessie Heinoporis. Again, apologies if I mispronounce your last name, but
Yeah,
you
that's
are
okay. No
unmuted.
worries. No
Yeah.
worries. So I'm the owner with my family of 870 East Street, right at the Rotary where the restaurant is and the dry cleaner is.
Mhm.
And we have several issues going on. The communication has been off. And can you please explain what minimize impact to the local businesses mean?
Sure. For the communication, you are always welcome to submit questions as we
Okay,
mentioned.
Mr. Omar, excuse me for a second, but our
Sure.
attorney has tried to contact you via phone and via email several times since the beginning of the discussion of this project.
Can I ask to what phone number? Because we have
Well, she has your email and all phone numbers. And she was told that she would get a call back. So the communication during this entire project, there has been no communication except for certified letters received.
I do apologize if there's miscommunication, but as far as from my end, I don't recall receiving any emails or phone calls. Also, we have public.
So
we can actually email you copies of everything.
I was going to say, Bessie, if it would be helpful, and I've taken your name down and you mentioned your business is at 870 East Street. I'm sure you've emailed before. If you would not mind sending just one more email to eaststreetbridge@mbta.com, just so
it's a little bit too late for that now, right? Because the project is a go now, without speaking to anyone's attorney. And it says here, if you have any questions regarding this matter, please contact Roger Mann, Senior Director, MBTA Real Estate, with his phone number and email. And also, we got your contact, Mr. Omar. But we need an explanation here, what you mean by minimizing the impact of businesses.
So
Sure.
again, Again, I would just, especially if this is more of a legal inquiry, I would invite to take this offline, and I do not think it is the end of a discussion because
Well, you guys were discussing communication. You said you
I understand
communicated
that.
with all the local businesses. And I just wanted to put that out there and let everybody know what's really going on.
So again, I would suggest that if you do not mind reaching out again.
That's okay, but we're trying to work on facts here.
I understand that. I'm trying to find a pathway forward so that we can be helpful as a project.
Sure.
So I appreciate you raising this to our attention, and let's get in touch so that we can move forward with your
Of
conversation.
course, our attorney's still waiting for a phone call back and an email. She's available every single day from 9 to 5.
Again, and please copy her on the communication and we will go from there.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Bessie.
Thank you.
Can we unmute Jason, please?
Jason should be unmuted, but can you speak, Jason?
It's showing me that he is still muted. Oh, he placed in my apologies, Jason. It was an accidental raised hand, but just a special shout out to the town engineer. Jason has been a really great partner to work with. And we very much so appreciate all of his help he's been giving us as we've been moving forward on the project. Going back to written comments for a second. Ronald Wiley asks, will a professional engineer be involved? If yes, from what organization, MBTA or contractor or both?
Let me answer that. Professional engineers are always involved. We have for the construction phase services, basically we have HNTB, and also from the contractor sides based or depending on the submittals and shop drawings, also professional engineers will be involved. I don't have information from contractor side available yet, but from MBTA side, the construction phase services is being provided by HNTB.
We have somebody on the phone who has their hand raised. So could we have the person whose number's last 4 digits are 2437 unmuted, please?
You should be unmuted and can speak now.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
We can. Hello.
Hi, my name is Richard Zarathi. I'm the operations manager for the Shell at 885 East Street. So I kind of missed the beginning a little bit. Can you tell me exactly when the bridge will be shut down?
Sure. If we can go back to slide number 9, if possible on the screen. Timeline briefly for bridge installation going to be in spring 2025. For bridge shutdown itself, the spring 2025 next year.
Spring 2025.
However, exact date, obviously when the bridge will be relocated from temporary to final position and demolition of the existing bridge. This is going to be done through weekend outages. Exact dates will be determined and shared in advance with the public.
Okay. And so and the project I caught was going to be done in the summer of 2026, correct?
I'm sorry, project, I didn't hear you properly.
The project will be completed in the summer of 2026?
Correct. The final completion of the work will be completed in the summer of 2026. That's correct.
Okay, so once the bridge is shut down, that will obviously deter the traffic going from the bridge to that rotary on East Street. Is that correct?
For a full lane closure, let me see quickly here.
So I think, Omar, Just real quick to clarify, Richard, I think what you're getting at is when there are those traffic diversions and interruptions, what we will suggest is the detour. Those detours, correct me if I'm wrong, Omar, will not start
That's
happening until later this year, early next year, and they will not be for extended periods of time. They're very targeted, and that's why we chose this method of delivery to disrupt traffic as little as possible. I don't know if we have the specifics of what those road detours will be. But I do know they do not occur until, I think at earliest, late fall, and it would not happen before our next public meeting. So we would be able to speak to that more specifically at that time.
Okay. And is it the person who, so I know the owner will probably have some questions. Is there a phone number to contact Mr. Omar?
Definitely I can share my email and my phone number. Please reach to the email shared on the presentation.
I'm on the phone. I don't have the access to the Zoom.
So Richard, what we can do is, so you're at the Shell station at 885 East Street.
Correct. I'm not there
Okay.
now, but
Yeah, well, which is fine. Can we, Omar, have somebody stop by the Shell station in the next couple of weeks just to make sure they know how to get in touch with the project, since he's not able to connect right now on the phone?
I can definitely, and I was on site a few weeks ago. I did meet, I don't know the last name, gentleman, his name is George. He said the owner of the gas station, and I did give him my business card, but definitely I'll stop by as well.
okay. Can you, the manager on site is Nidal, Nidal. Can you make sure he gets that and I can get it from him?
Absolutely. Actually, I have a site visit tomorrow, and I can stop by.
Okay, I'll let him know that you are.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, so, and then, so all throughout the whole, I don't mean to dominate here, but all throughout the whole construction, the traffic will be detoured back onto where the Shell station is? Can you fairly say that's correct?
If a full detour is required during the construction, the current design shows for the full detour that the traffic from East Street will be detoured through Cedar Street and Sanderson Avenue.
But can I clarify, Omar, that is not in place at all times. So people will still be
Correct.
able to drive down East Street for the majority of construction.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yes,
okay, thank you.
no problem. Thank you for calling in. We appreciate it. Gonna go back to, we've accumulated a few written comments. So an anonymous attendee asks, does the town have any plan to manage the traffic flow, especially for the heavy duty vehicles after the new bridge is installed? That is not something we, the MBTA, can speak to, but again, I would reiterate, we are in constant contact with the town. They've been a great partner and they are very aware of everyone's concerns around the road, both before this project was even an idea and well after. Another anonymous attendee, apologies if this was addressed earlier in the presentation. What will the disruption to commuter rail riders be? So there will be a few weekend outages. This shouldn't impact Monday to Friday service on the Franklin line, but there will be a couple of weekends when we're putting the new bridge structure in. Again, this is that accelerated bridge construction method that we're using so that it's minimally disruptive. There will not be a commuter rail interruption anytime soon. When we come back in the fall, we will have a better idea of what those weekends will be. And so we'll share them then or as soon as we know them. But it will be weekend closures to the Franklin line will be the impact to riders on our commuter rail. Okay, Stephen Relier, again, apologies if I'm mispronouncing a name. At the previous public meeting, the MBTA expressed a willingness to work with the town during the design phase on any traffic calming or mitigation measures that the town wanted to deploy to address concerns about large trucks in the neighborhood. Has there been any engagement from the town or on this over the past 18 months? Thank you. Omar, I will let you chime in, but I think it is fair to say we have met with the town many times over the last 18 months. And again, as I had previously mentioned, this is a concern that both we, the MBTA, and the town is very aware of. Omar, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I just want to confirm that we have been and will continue coordination with the town, but at the end of the road, the road is controlled by the town and the traffic control is enforced by the town.
Okay, I'd like to pivot back to raised hands. Could we have Andrew Titler unmuted, please?
Andrew, you should be able to speak now.
Hi, yes, this is Julie Titler, his wife. Thank you for taking my call. I've missed previous meetings on this project. I found the question, the answer to the very first question asked about the continuance of the bike lanes on East Street in the Endicott area underneath the underpass to connect to Sprague Street and Cedar Street. Unclear. The answer specified that construction would be according to specified design and current regulations, but it didn't actually explain if there is a plan to continue the bike lanes, not just for bikes, but for, you know, personal electric vehicles and other things, to continue under the bridge. A lot of children and teenagers use that to get from the Manor and Green Lodge areas over to Ruscraft and to the town and to some of the schools. So I'm just curious what is in store for that, if anything.
For sidewalks, sorry, not the sidewalks, for the bike lanes. So we have communicated this with the town. The new design shows 12 foot with a 2 feet shoulder. The agreement we came to with the town is that the MBTA will provide the 2 double yellow line in the middle of the roadway, and the town will provide the striping of the white, which is my understanding that it's going to be a 4 foot wide to match what's already there on the East Street.
Thank you very much.
Regarding the other portion related to the hopefully I get that right, the electric vehicles. I don't believe the design. We don't have any specific things related to the electric vehicles on the project.
They use the bike lanes just like everybody else on wheels. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So kind of feeding off of that, we had a written comment from Annabelle Gutley, who is piggybacking on Mr. Plummer's comment regarding the safety of the roadway users. Will there be crash tested barriers installed in an event of vehicular accidents?
I'm not sure I understand the question correctly, but if traffic barriers are required during construction, usually those are they meet the standards and they are crash tested already.
So we have a couple more questions related to businesses in the area, and I want to group these together if I could. Again, Jim McDonald, who is a selectman who had previously commented earlier, asking about what the outreach has been, has asked that the MBTA share their outreach to businesses with the town, which I think is something we can certainly do. And we have another business owner, William Mullaney, again, apologies for mispronouncing. And he says, hello, we are the owners of 878 East Street. I would like to second Bessie's comments about the lack of communication except for registered letters. This is not acceptable. We would like to know about compensation for business disruption. Also would like to know if Greenwood Avenue is going to be open to traffic both ways, with one-way sign currently located to be removed during construction. To address that first part, if I could suggest, Omar, to you and the project team, in addition to visiting the Shell station, and I have these addresses written down for Bessie's business as well, at 870 East Street and Williams at 878. If if you could stop by to begin those discussions with those local businesses, I think that would be very helpful. Can you speak at all to the Greenwood Avenue question, which, to repeat, is Greenwood Avenue going to be open to traffic both ways? It is currently a one-way street.
We are not changing any of the current configuration. If the roadway is currently one way, it's gonna remain as is. However, if it's gonna be closed in the future, depending on the construction activities, for a full closure, if a full closure is implemented, most likely the Greenwood Avenue and the Grant Avenue will be closed from the East Street side. But if more details, again, this is still in the early stages of the construction, so I don't have exact details from the contractor about the roadway, if it's full lane, double lane, closed, and the limits. Once we have those, we'll definitely communicate those in further details.
Okay. So we have a few more written questions, excuse me. Mike and Paula, Marks and Murray, does your 14-foot clearance slide wording mean or suggest that bridge collisions are still expected by the MBTA? So I can't remember the exact wording. I think, and I know this came up in design because there are a lot of concerns about the height of this bridge. This bridge is quite old and is a substandard height and has been hit quite a bit. So the reasoning for raising it to 14 feet is so that it will not be hit by standard tractor trailers. We don't expect it to get hit. We hope it won't. And by raising it, we are optimistic that it will stop getting hit in the future. Okay, next written question. Maria Gabriela Ganji, a question and a comment. We keep talking about if the traffic rerouting is necessary. What would determine the rerouting? I live just off the Rotary and traffic is already difficult, especially because of cars coming from Sprague. Also, we did not receive any notification about the work starting right now. This morning, there was a lane closure. So I think, Omar, can you speak to when we would implement a detour? What kind of work would require you to reroute traffic?
One of the activities that will definitely implement a detour and a full lane closure is the movement of the bridge superstructure from the temporary location to the final position of the bridge. This is going to be done during the weekend. Other construction activities like roadway lowering and underground utility relocation also will require either single lane or if needed, and after coordination with the town will require most likely some of those activities is also in full closure.
So related to that, Carlene Campbell Hegarty asks, what traffic detours will be put in place? How will traffic detours be communicated to the community? I think we've addressed the first question, but for the second question, we will reach out in a few ways. We do have our East Street Bridge at mbta.com email address that sends and will continue to send construction updates. We will also make sure the town is aware. Again, we speak with them very frequently, so they are also able to push out through other channels. And again, one more quick plug, if you look in the chat, it should have a link to the project page, the ability to sign up for updates on the project from that East Street Bridge email account, as well as the account itself if you'd like to send a note after this meeting. Okay. Kristen Relier, am I correct in understanding that the construction hours will generally be weekdays during the day, but will not require detours or traffic disruption for the majority of construction? And then specific weekends, it sounds like it'll be 3 or 5, will be impacted when train service and road service will be closed for bridge installation. So I believe, Omar, that the answer is yes. The goal is to keep East Street open as much as we can. And when we absolutely have to detour traffic and to not fully close it unless we are also stopping rail service, and that would be limited to weekends. Is that accurate, Omar?
That's pretty accurate for specifically for the train service, the rail service. We're going to be limited to weekend outages, 4 to 5 weekend outages, and service will be replaced by busing, and notification will be sent to riders in advance. Regarding the roadway closures, again, there will be, to improve the clearance of the bridge, the roadway will need to be lowered. Also, underground utilities are impacting. Unfortunately, in order to achieve this, and the drainage system also will be improved, and to achieve those 3 things, the lowering, the utility relocation, and the drainage, traffic closures will be necessary. Single lane, the first option to go is to minimize the impact as much as possible. But if needed, and we have to implement, if needed, we have to implement full closure. But we'll try to keep it as minimum as possible. We will work and coordinate with the town, and we'll work with the contractor. This is really the main goal, is just to be as minimal as possible with regard to traffic impact.
Okay. Patricia Bunton, I missed the beginning of the meeting. When will the construction be over? The current projection for the end of construction and substantial completion is the summer of 2026. So in a little over 2 years. Hector Lucero, where and how will East, one second, where and how will East Street be lowered to increase the vertical length of the bridge? So Omar, I think this question is about how you're lowering the roadway to make that clearance.
How is just traditional construction methods, excavators and tracks, but when it's going to happen, as mentioned in the slide number 9, if we go, this will take a place after the bridge installation is completed, which is going to be in the spring 2026. The spring 2026, when that work is completed, I apologize. So going to be toward, again, so after the bridge installation is completed in the spring 2025, this is when we're going to shift focus on the roadway lowering work.
We have an anonymous attendee. Note, some businesses are represented by counsel. It is unreasonable to just pop in to talk or discuss this matter with certain businesses without counsel. I would respond to that. If that is the case, please reach out to us, and we will make sure not to visit until you feel comfortable. That is certainly not our intention, to make you feel uncomfortable. Select woman Erin Bowles Welsh. What design elements will prevent and dissuade large trucks previously prevented by bridge height from traveling under the bridge and continuing on East Street, disrupting residents? So again, I know we had a lot of these conversations in design. The concern about large trucks on this road is very well known to both the MBTA and the town, and there is currently posted that trucks are not allowed on it, which continues to be enforced by the town. As far as design elements, as previously discussed, we are designing this bridge so that it hopefully does not get hit by trucks anymore, as both a danger to our customers on the commuter rail and the people who live in this neighborhood. We do not want to see an accident happen and people hurt. Okay, Kristen Relier has a follow-up question. Is the single lane for most of the project next spring? It's just hard to understand what to expect based on this response. So Omar, if we could simplify a little bit for people to understand, should they expect over the course of the next couple of years in construction that for the majority of the time you will be able to travel on East Street both ways for the majority of the time? Obviously, I think everyone understands that based on certain activities, maybe it goes to a single lane, maybe there is a detour, but for the majority of the time, will people be able to travel on East Street like they are used to?
I would say that's the goal. I cannot really confirm majority of the time now. We are working with the contractor on the baseline schedule and still currently in the review, and hopefully by
So let me then at least narrow in. I know it's very early in the project. You're still finalizing the schedule. Again, we will be coming in person down to Dedham in the fall to have a public meeting when we know more about the timelines as we've gotten underway. Before the fall, at least, Omar, before the kind of September, October realm, is it reasonable for people to expect that they can travel on East Street as normal for these next few months?
That's definitely
That's
accurate.
true. Okay, great. I think that'll be helpful.
I would say even I would say, just to add to this, until we reach the stage where we need to do underground utility and roadway rolling, this is where the impact. But before then, say most of the time impact will be minimal.
Okay, so I hope that clarifies for people that in the next few months, you shouldn't see that much disruption to traffic. And again, as we learn more, once we know when detours are going to be in place, we will not only reach out to you, we will make sure the town is very well aware as well, so they can go through all of their channels to make sure we can share as much as we can ahead of time. I want to give another minute for some questions to pop up. I don't currently see any. Again, if we could go back one slide just to leave up.
Katie, we just got a question, just so you know.
I did see that as I was
sorry.
I did want to go back one slide and just leave this previous slide up with the information. I know we've posted it several times in the chat, but Joisha, if you would not mind putting up the next step slide, just so that people are able to have that on display. Okay, Mike and Paula, Marks and Murray. Does the MBTA expect more frequent freight traffic on this line with the structural improvements coming with this bridge? My understanding is this doesn't impact what travels on this bridge one way or another. Again, this project really is just about making the bridge safer and has no impact on what traffic goes over it one way or the other. Again, I will do a last call for questions. I do appreciate everyone's time this evening. We have been aware from the beginning how impactful this project is to the Dedham community, particularly the neighborhood right around it. And we have appreciated your grace and patience with us as we get this project underway. It means a lot. Again, I will give it one last call. On top of that, I do want to thank not only the town who we've mentioned. You have quite a few town officials on this call who have been great partners, both in helping us better design this project and also making sure we're aware of what we need to be aware of. Also, your elected officials, the selectmen and women, and the state senator and state rep have been very great partners in this, and we very much so appreciate their support and help. Okay. With that, I am going to close the meeting. Thank you again so much for attending. The PDF of this presentation will be available on the website, hopefully within the next few days. And once it is, we will send a link to all attendees so you can have a copy of it. Additionally, the recording of this meeting will be available on that project webpage, so we'll include that link as well. And we look forward to seeing you in Dedham in the fall. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.